Part 37. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 361. Chapter 361 Madara's Information. The Guardian Council made a final decision, agreeing to build a portal directly to Joshinyuan in Takiyan village for the development of the ninja world and for the safety of the tailed beast. At the same time, the 4 hidden villages of Sand, Rock, Cloud, and Mist also unanimously passed the tailed beast collection plan proposed by Konoha. Therefore, the portal hardware facility construction team starting from Konoha has already started planning to go to Longjian village to build the portal infrastructure and supporting facilities. When this matter is completed, it is only necessary to activate the magic circle left by Wu in Gao Tianyuan's teleportation hall, and the portal can be officially connected. Wu himself will naturally move faster, but he is now in a critical period of communication with the Star Soul. It took 2 years for Magna Bronzebeard to communicate with the Star Soul of Azeroth. Of course, enlightenment will not spend so much time now, but it still takes a few months. Otherwise, he wouldn't come back before the ceremony, and explain everything that might be used. As for whether Madara will jump out to make trouble during the time when he communicates with the Star Soul. Both Aelins and Satoru still maintain contact with Kuwabai. If Madara really dares to single-handedly challenge Gao Tianyuan, Satoru will naturally keep an eye on it. In the video of Madara and Satoru's battle last time, there are still diehards who jumped out to question the authenticity when the terrain of Taki country has become like that. Wu deliberately chose this time to retreat, and also wanted to use Madara's hand to give these people a resounding slap. Gao Tian was originally guarded by the power of the dragon veins, and those buildings were condensed by Wu using arcane power. As long as the energy is sufficient, they will not be destroyed by the aftermath of mere battles. What's more, such a large place outside the city, Minato knew what it was for. Let them really experience Madara's power. Anyway, Satoru can finally come out in time to cover the situation. Just like the sages of the 6 paths. Konoha, Minato is discussing this matter with Kurama right now. Kurama, although your identity is still kept secret in the ninja world, but when you meet other tailed beasts, you can reveal it to them. But they must keep it a secret from injury. Minato told the middle-aged uncle who was leaning on the chair with a tired face. Old Zi of Yanyan village is 4-tailed Jinchuriki, who is not compatible with the 3rd generation of Tukajonoki, and has long since left the village to become a wandering monk. It will take some time for Yanyan village to find him. So you don't have to be nervous and we'll meet them soon. Ha! Nervous? Will my uncle be nervous? Kurama threw a contemptuous look at Minato who was smiling wryly. Are you kidding? The 9 of them together can't compare to my uncle. Why is my uncle so nervous when he sees them? This is not. There is no reason. Speaking of this incident, it is just that Wu boy wants to make troubles. I won't miss them because I haven't seen them for 1,000 years. Kurama criticized Minato seriously. Minato, as a Hokage, although your external identity is the perfect Renzuriki of my lord, it is basically hopeless to be able to connect with my lord. Minato could only smile wryly. He admitted that his perfect Jinchuriki was too watery. Okay, then in case Banban really appears, I'll trouble you to notify senior brother Wu in time. TCH, that kid has been mysteriously not knowing what he's doing recently, but... Julama's face became serious, he stroked the stubble of his chin, a little surprised. Although he only showed his face last time as a clone, it almost made me think that he saw the old man of 6 paths. This guy must be doing something amazing, so he didn't come here in person. Probably, although he can support the battlefield at any time, he will have to pay some price. Is that so? Minato also became serious, which he did not expect. Then when the time comes, if you don't bother senior brother Wu, don't bother him. Uchiha Madara, I hope the 5 shadows and the power of the tailed beasts can repel him. The power of the tailed beasts? Nine Lama snorted coldly, and said with disdain. My uncle was, humph. The few of them will only be worse than this uncle. Uchiha Madara is not as simple as what you see in the video, but in the face of Wu, many of his methods are ineffective. But it's different when facing you guys, you still have to be careful. Having said that, the nine lamas have an inexplicably strange expression. Speaking of which, my master will not join the battle this time. Tisk tisk, luckily Madara doesn't have the eyes of reincarnation. As long as the heretic golem doesn't appear, you can still take a look at their jokes. Samsara eyes. Minato touched his chin. Although I don't know what mission Brother Wu has arranged for Nagato, he is determined not to cooperate with Madara. I haven't seen that kid with reincarnation eyes yet. Julama raised his eyebrows. According to your description, I can't imagine that someone like the old man of six paths would choose such a little guy as the inheritor of the Eye of Reincarnation. There must be something wrong with it. Things will always come to light, Uchiha Madara. A look of anticipation flashed across Minato's seemingly harmless handsome face. Although I don't want Madara to show up and cause damage, I'm looking forward to confronting him. The land of the Uchiha clan, the residence of the patriarch. Uchiha Fugaku has recently been a little haggard by the Uchiha ancestor who appeared again in the ninja world. Although this matter is still top secret to ordinary ninjas, but with the surname Uchiha. Fuyu also got the news of Madara's appearance for the first time. Although he did not support Madara's rebellion against the village at the beginning, there is no shortage of records about Uchiha Madara among the Uchiha clan. This is all precious information against Madara. If it cannot be made public to ordinary clansmen, then he, the Uchiha Patriarch, needs to do it himself to search for these old files. Uchiha Izumi, Madara's younger brother, Kaleidoscope Sharingan ability, Amaterasu, Kagudome, very powerful ability. Fuyu carefully reviewed the records about Madara, but Madara's records are always inseparable from Uchiha Quana. Madara's Kaleidoscope Sharingan, Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu. But after opening the Eternal Kaleidoscope Sharingan, Madara almost focuses on Susanoo, and hardly uses these two pupil skills. In other words, at their level of combat, Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu really don't have much effect, and only Susanoo has the most potential for development. Fuyu has also seen the battle video of Madara and Satoru, combined with the battle records of the early Hokage Senjujima. He could only smile bitterly and touch his eyes. Father! There was a call from outside the door, and Fuyu was slightly startled, then came back to his senses, and put away the information in his hand. It's Itachi, come in. The door opened, and 7-year-old Uchiha Itachi walked in with a flame civet lying on his head, holding a piece of paper in his hand, with a strange expression on his face. But the first thing Fuyu noticed was the Konoha forehead guard on his forehead. Father, this is the graduation certificate from the ninja school. They said that if I go on, I will hit other students. Well, from today onwards, I will endure it. As expected of my son. P.S. About Madara and Quana's kaleidoscope ability. Kishimoto has never had the ability to really hammer Madara, and it is not in the formula book. The effect of magnification is guesswork, or set by the same person. Madara didn't obviously use any special kaleidoscope abilities in the comics at all compared to Gundam. These abilities are scum, and they can't help in this level of battle. Secondly, the second generation once mentioned Kaguto Life, which means that he has seen it before, and Kaguto Life needs to be launched in conjunction with Amaterasu, which means that there is a person in Uchiha history who has exactly the same ability as Sasuke, and the second generation knows it very well. The person who best fits this information is Madara's younger brother Quana. Madara is not surprised by Sasuke's Amaterasu, and the appearance of Sasuke and Quana is very similar, so the basic abilities of Quana are Amaterasu and Kagutame. Madara's own illusion strength is also extremely powerful. Using someone else's Sanguya can bring Obito into the illusion space. Although he didn't say it directly, but with Madara's explanation of infinite Tsukuyomi, it is obvious that it is the illusion space formed by Tsukuyomi, so at least one of Madara's kaleidoscope should be Tsukiyomi. Then according to Kishimoto's favorite symmetrical setting, elder brother to elder brother, younger brother to younger brother, Itaka is Tsukuyomi Amaterasu, and as an older brother, and the powerful fire ninja, there is a high probability that Madara is also Tsukiyomi Amaterasu. And among all the abilities of the kaleidoscope, Amaterasu without the addition of Earth-life cooperation really can't play any role in the battle above the shadow level. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 362. Chapter 362 Ready. Itaka handed the graduation certificate in his hand to Fuyu, and hugged Xiaohuo who was yawning on his head, a little impressively. Father, in fact, I feel that there are still many things that can be explored in the textbooks re-edited by Mr. Wu, and Mr. Dai's physical training courses are also very interesting. Itaka, for you, that level of basic education can no longer stimulate your upper limit. Fuyu read the graduation certificate with all the evaluations with a smile on his face, and nodded. I have to say that the high-level judgment is not wrong, and you should enter the next stage. Are you on a mission? While stroking the cat, Itaka said with some expectation. Is that so? I will have the opportunity to open Sharingan, and one day join Umbu like brother Obito. Of course it is possible, however, for the ninjas of our Uchiha clan, there needs to be another step in the middle. Fuyu returned the graduation certificate to Itaka, but the latter was a little curious after taking it. Additional steps? Yes, this has only recently been implemented in the clan, a mandatory measure for our Uchiha clan ninjas. A protective ninjutsu practice. After a pause, an imperceptible tension flashed in Fuyu's eyes, but it disappeared immediately. Speaking of it, Itaka, you are the newest and youngest ninja of our Uchiha clan during this time. Therefore, you are also the first ninjutsu in the clan to practice this ninjutsu. Is it, the Samsara seal technique practiced by the seniors a while ago? Itaka suddenly. It is said that it is a rare spiritual protection ninjutsu, and it can also enhance the pupil power of Sharingan. People in the clan have talked a lot about it. It was developed and promoted by you, father, and people in the clan call you the greatest Uchiha patriarch in history. I originally thought that it could only be learned after the Sharingan was opened. You can learn before you open your eyes. Fuyu chuckled. The Obito you mentioned before is that you learned this technique before opening your eyes, and then successfully opened Sharingan. Of course, this also has something to do with personal qualifications and efforts. Whether you can open your eyes directly with this technique, I have absolute confidence in your aptitude, it depends on your hard work. So that's the case, no wonder it needs to be promoted by the whole family. Itaka nodded solemnly. Father, don't worry, if I say I work hard, I won't lose to anyone. This technique was developed by you, father, and I will definitely learn it better than anyone else. Fuyu looked at his son's serious look, and touched his chin in embarrassment. Itaka, if you can use this technique to successfully open Sharingan, you will know the details of this technique. Moreover, this technique was not developed by me, and the idea of the greatest patriarch in history is also nonsense. Others don't know, so that's all, but as my son, you still have to know the pass. Little fire, authorize now. Didn't your father develop it? Itaka was surprised, and stopped touching the cat. Hearing Fuyu's order, Xiaohuo yawned, got up and jumped onto Itaka's shoulder. Meow. Confirmation of identity, the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku. Authority level, A. Authorized content, after Uchiha Itaka opens Sharingan with the Samsara technique, inform him of the detailed information about this technique as soon as possible. Authorization status, confirmed. Patriarch Fuyu, please rest assured that the mission will be executed as soon as the mission conditions are met. Very good. Fuyu nodded in satisfaction. Xiaohuo can detect whether Itaki has opened his eyes with the technique of reincarnation, and can also convey the information in place when he is not around. Father, does Xiaohuo know about this? Itaki seemed to understand something, and nodded in understanding. So, I'm going to practice this technique right away. Hee, don't worry, it's almost lunchtime, you go to find Mom and Suzuki first. Tell them, I will go over here after finishing the last bit of business. Yes, father. Thinking of his mother, especially his younger brother Suzuki, Itaka showed a happy smile, saluted immediately, and retreated with Xiaohuo in his arms. This child. The smile on Fuyu's face slowly subsided, although Obito directly used this technique to cultivate all the way from opening eyes to Sanguyu, but it was under the care of Yowu himself. Enlightenment also emphasized before that for younger children, it is still necessary to proceed step by step. The art of reincarnation has been popularized on a large scale among the Jonin and Chunin of the Uchiha clan, but so far, except for Shisui, no one has been able to develop pupil power so fast like Obito. I don't know how far Itaka can do it. It's really exciting. Turning his head to look at the information on the table, Fuyu frowned. Blade, in his hand, there should be a lot of 3-go jade writing sharing eyes. These eyes are not controlled by the technique of reincarnation. He will definitely use these eyes to do something, and this matter must be reported to the village. Fuyu picked up the materials and continued to sort them out. Speaking of which, when his kaleidoscope Sharingan is doing these intelligence tasks, it has a bug-like ability, which is equivalent to a supercomputer. But even so, he still couldn't guess Wu's plan. Madara's eyes are eternal kaleidoscope Sharingan. Is Satoru really not worried about what he will do to the 9-tailed beasts? Even if it is Satoru, if Madara controls a few tailed beasts, can he still beat him? No matter what Fuyu thinks, things are still proceeding step by step according to Wu's plan. The Council of Guardians passed another New Year's Eve without any incidents, without Satoru presiding over it. Finally, before summer came, Yanyan village finally found a trace of Four Tails Jinzolai and Lao Zi. The reason why it took so long is that apart from the fact that Lao Zi was wandering in the ninja world and her whereabouts were uncertain, it was more due to the conflicted mood of the 3 generations of Tsuchika Jonoji. The disagreement between Lao Zi and Onaki's political opinions caused the 5-tailed Jinchuriki to be isolated by Onaki, which made Yanyan village in a rather awkward position regarding the matter of the tailed beastman Kuriki. Yanyan village was originally the opponent of Longian village's portal plan, and Onoki was even more unwilling to send more people to do this. However, although Han still regards himself as a ninja of Yanyan village and is willing to cooperate with tailed beast chakra research, he is very dissatisfied with Onaki's malicious delay. He went alone to look for traces of his old comrade in arms Lao Zi, which finally left Onaki speechless. Onaki, you stubborn old man, I have already said that you have lost yourself and your responsibility as a shadow. Lao Zi immediately returned to Yanyan village, where he had chosen to leave, with Han. Facing Onaki, who was unwilling to come to greet him, Lao Zi almost broke the opponent's defense with one sentence. There should be a limit to selfishness. With your own efforts, the peace that the ninja world has finally established has fallen into suspicion and friction. Onoki, you really should consider letting a young man succeed you. Old Zi. Onaki was so angry that his beard was raised. Don't you know that the portal facility built by Konoha has only just been completed? Han, let's go to the headquarters of the Guardian Council. Lao Zi ignored Onaki's fury, showing an excited expression. Perfect Ranjuriki, Sun Wukong and I can also communicate with each other now. Let us see what a further perfect Renzuriki looks like. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 363. Chapter 363, The game begins. Gao Tianyuan once again ushered in an important moment. The completed portal was officially connected to the teleportation hall under the witness of the 5 counselors and 5 shadows. Longjian village became the 6th, and currently the only village besides the 5 great hidden villages, that has a direct portal to Gao Tianyuan. After the portal connection was completed, the 4th Hokage Namikaze Gate looked around at the CKH present, nodded and said, "Then, let the Renzhuli from each village send it over, and I will explain to them the related matters of the tailed beast chakra transmission technology." Nanao Shijiki's Jinchuriki, the young girl Fu, has arrived at the teleportation hall through the newly built teleportation gate. Although young, children in the ninja world are very precocious, Fu can now have a certain connection with Nanao, who is sealed in the body according to instructions. The tailed beasts in other hidden villages also have young people. But through the communication space jointly created by the 9-tailed beasts chakra, Minato can actually directly tell the tailed beasts the chakra transmission technology. Then, as long as the tailed beasts are willing to cooperate, things will be much simpler. Therefore, the first step of the so-called chakra conduction technology is to develop relationships with the tailed beasts. Regarding this, Minato, a parallel importer, was still a little nervous. "Don't be nervous, those guys combined can't beat me, so what are you worried about?" The 9 Lamas are maintaining contact with Minato through the chakra contract. Sensing Minato's mood, he mocked with disdain. "Isn't this uncle personally acting as a lobbyist for you? Let me try first." On the surface, the water surface remained unchanged, but in his heart he reluctantly accepted Ju Lama's complaints. "I think it's more effective for 9 Lamas to share your snacks with them." "You are dreaming." The 5 counselors arranged for the evacuation of other personnel, while the guards of the 5 cages went to the portals of their respective villages to pick up Jinchuriki. In Yinyan village, the guard brought by Onaki is a young afro-headed ninja. He turned around and was about to go to the portal when Onaki stopped him. "Shall you, well, tell that bastard Lao Zi quietly later, save this old man some face." "Yes, 3rd generation." Satoshi took the order with a strange expression on his face. As a high-level independent force, he was naturally very clear about the grievances between Lord Tsuchikage and Lord Lao Zi. Speaking of it, it was just an awkward dispute between 2 stubborn old men. However, Master Tukage is doing this for the sake of image. Are you planning to give in? On the other side, Lei Yingei also greeted his guards. "Troy, tell Kirabi to stop, and stop singing that rap song. Let him take care of the teak door for a while. Her condition is not stable yet. Let Bai pay attention to whether she can take this opportunity to stabilize." "Understood, 4th generation." Troy led the way to the portal, and saw Hunt walking with him. "Humph, a violent savage who ran away. TCH, a magnetic juggler." The 2 conflicting parties glared at each other for a moment, but chose to complete the task first. However, Yan Yinfang, who came out of the portal. 4-tailed Jinchuriki Laozi, 5-tailed Jinchuriki Han, and Yun Yinfang. 2-tailed Jinchuriki, the 2nd teak door, and 8-tailed Jinchuriki Rabbi. There is no such tension between the 2 parties. In the final analysis, they are all Renzhuli, whether it is lucky or unlucky. The 4 of them just nodded to each other, and then looked at Renzhuli, who came out of the teleportation gate of Wuyan village. A boy with long black hair in a light blue kimono, 6 tails Jinchuriki. "Yo teak door, it's about the same age as you, baby." As soon as Kirabi opened his mouth, he attracted Bubble's attention. The black-robed guard who brought him paused and stepped back silently. Kazekage, is there no Jinchuriki in your village?" The 5 Jinchuriki who gathered for the first time heard the conversation between Hokage Namikaze Minato and Fukage Raza before they had time to speak, and their attention was immediately attracted. Luo Sha didn't send guards to the portal, and nodded upon hearing that. Because of some special reasons, our Saiyan village has not used Ren's Huli to seal Shuhi for the time being. Pursing her lips, Luo Sha secretly sighed. Candidates who were recruited by Saiyan village to test the sealing ceremony of Ren's Huli were all killed by the furious Shao'erhi without exception. In other words, Kazekage Raza, who killed Shikaku's spiritual friend Fenfu, couldn't help but run away whenever he saw Shikaku. However, the sealing ceremony of Ren's Huli could not have been done without the participation of Luo Sha, the only one in Yinsha village who can suppress the Crane Guard. This is also one of the reasons why Luo Sha was hesitant when he found out that his son Gaara and Shuhi had a very high compatibility. Unlike the original timeline where there was no choice, the current Luo Sha has seen some hope in the leader of the Guardian Council, Satoru Mito, who has repeatedly performed incredible actions. It's just that Wu has never appeared, so Luo Sha has been waiting patiently. Yakura. Luo Sha signaled the serious female ninja behind her to step forward. This is my guard, Jonin Hakura, this. Luo Sha pointed to a tea kettle held by Yekang. This tea kettle is the magic weapon to seal the crane. Since ancient times, Saiyan village has used teapots to seal and guard the cranes, which is so secure that it will be safe. Everyone's expressions became weird, and Lei Yingei hugged his arms and hummed. My Union village also has 2 sealing artifacts, but my Union village will not treat Ren's Huli like some people do. As Lei Ying of Union village, who has been the most active in the study of tailed beasts, I immediately realized what made Luo Sha be afraid of rats. But tailed beasts are also very self-respecting. As for Chagama, if Shikaku will be laughed at by other tailed beasts and go berserk later, don't blame me for not reminding you, Kazekage. If this is the case, I will deal with it myself. Luo Sha snorted coldly, not looking at Ai's gloating expression with a dark face. He turned to the 4th Mizukage Yakure who had been silent all this time, and the 4th Hokage Minato who had a strange expression. Then counting the 2 of you, the 9 big-tailed beasts are all gathered, let's get ready to start. Yagura nodded silently and said nothing. And the reason for Minato's strange complexion. Ha 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 ha. Uncle Ben is laughing to death. Julamo laughed wildly in the induction of the water gate. He frantically slapped the table with tea and snacks in the phantom space, and there was a loud bang. That stupid raccoon cat was locked in the tea kettle. After all, it's a guy with only 1 tail, it's too weak to admit it. This uncle has already felt it. That stupid civet cat is already trembling with anger, right? Ha ha ha. Kurama, your relationship with Shizuru doesn't seem to be very good. Minato quietly wiped off his sweat, seeing Kurama gloating, it was really. Etc. 9 llamas suddenly cried out in surprise. Watergate. Switch chakra to perception mode, be careful of the 3-tailed Jinchuriki. This is the first time this uncle has met other tailed Orkskuriki. Although the main body is not here, there is no difference. There is telepathy between us tailed beasts, this kind of distance, even in the body of Jinzolai, I can sense them. But my uncle sent telepathy to all the tailed beasts just now, even the stupid civet cats responded, but the 3 tails did not respond. What? Minato's expression froze, and he immediately turned to Mizukage Yakura, and began to perceive, but saw a figure in a black hooded robe behind him at some point. A deeply hidden malice appeared in Minato's perception. A high level of vigilance, as expected of 9 tails Jinchuriki, then. Madara Uchiha lifted his hood, and his scarlet cherry non glanced around the shock Seikage and Jinchuriki. Game, start. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 364. Chapter 364. Uchiha Madara. Four shadows, guards, and counselors backed away immediately, surrounding Yagura and Madara in the center from four directions. Not only Minato, but everyone present could see something was wrong with Yagura. He still stood quietly in front of Madara, without any reaction at all. What happened to you, fourth generation? The most anxious thing is Kirigakure Senator Aoki. Is Mizukage being kidnapped now? Madara Uchiha pretends to be a Mizukage guard. How incredible this is. Oops. The portal. Ching immediately wanted to check the portal, and the water shadow was under control. He couldn't imagine what the Wuyan village was like now. But the original portal in the teleportation hall, which was as tall as two people, has been compressed to the size of a fist. This is the standby state that occurs only when the energy supply of the portal is insufficient. You even control the energy supply authority of the portal. This is Uchiha Madara. Lao Zi and Han were surprised to find that Tsuchika Jonoji's thin body was trembling slightly. Onaki. It's too ugly. Lao Zi angrily reprimanded in a low voice, and stood beside Anuma with Han on the left and right. Are you still afraid of that man? Humph, seeing the real person is completely different from what I saw in the video. I will go all out later. Onaki's body slowly floated to the same height as Lao Zi, gritted his teeth and laughed angrily. Don't have the slightest thought of testing. Damn it. I controlled Mizukage without knowing it, but how is it possible? Lei Yingei glanced at Kiribi, who was also shocked, and blurted out. No matter how powerful the Sherry non-illusion is, Mizukage is the perfect Jinchuriki. Humph, perfect Jinchuriki. Madara tilted his head expressionlessly, slowly untied the robe on his body, and threw it aside, revealing a red layered armor. In front of me, Uchiha Madara, the tail beasts are not as powerful as you think, they are at best the servants of the pupils. I seem to have emphasized this matter many years ago. The scarlet pupils looked at Minato Hokage with a serious face, and the corners of Uchiha Madara's mouth turned up slightly. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki who became Hokage? Mito Satoru erased the psychic contract on Nine-Tails. But I should have told him that Nine-Tails was only temporarily placed in Konoha by me. Uchiha Madara, you are now a factor that endangers the ninja world. Although the chairman is not here, we will not let you do anything wrong. Minato pulled out the Flying Thunder God Kunao, feeling the huge coercion on Madara's body, and his face became more dignified. What happened to Mizukage? Well, it's not difficult to control Tailed Beast and Jinchuriki at the same time. Moreover, if Jinchuriki is not in good condition, such as being seriously injured. Madara patted Yagura's shoulder lightly. Then it's easier. Uchiha Madara. You. Ao was about to go crazy, he now fully understood what was wrong with the fourth generation that he felt before. No wonder the fourth generation doesn't care about my problem with the white eyes. If the white eyes continue to exist, I am undoubtedly the most likely to find out about the fourth generation. Damn it! Could it be that there is something wrong with the white eyes, and it is Madara's secret attack? The more Ching thought about it, the more he felt it was possible, and couldn't help but gritted his teeth, but was immediately grabbed by Shenshu. Ching. Wait. Now that Mizukage is in his hands, if you cancel the illusion now, you are forcing Madara to kill Mizukage. He, Hashirama's grandson, he finally has a better brain. Glancing at the rope tree with a slight approval, Madara spread his hands indifferently. That's the way it is, I'm just here to collect the tailed beasts, Renzhuli, and so on, they are bound to die after all. Just how to die in order to be decent. Shengshu let go of Ching, whose face was flushed with suffocation, and walked behind Minato. Then Madara-senpai, you can stay today. Leave me? Madara seems to have heard the funniest joke. Mito Gate Satoru is here, and he dare not say such a thing, let alone he is not here. So, how many of you also think this way? Madara glanced at Sekage, Jinchuriki, and Nakoki, but he didn't pay attention to the other counselors and guards at all. Without exception, everyone showed a strong fighting spirit. Kazekage Raza glanced at Minato. There is only Minato, who is Hokage, without guards. Moreover, with so much commotion here, the entire teleportation hall seemed to be isolated, and no one came in from outside. The execution troops were nowhere to be seen. So that's how it is, as expected of Konoha, she was already prepared. In addition to Ching, the four counselors also returned to their shadows, and together with the guards, they protected the Renzhuli of their respective villages. There are no cage-level powerhouses in Longian village, but they have established a friendly relationship with Konoha, so the leader of Longian village took Fu and stood behind Minato. Shengshu stood in front of Fu. This girl was not much older than Xianglin, he subconsciously protected her. Uchiha Madara's illusion can even be manipulated by Kuwabai, but how did he control the portal? Shenshu frowned. Gao Tianyuan's power system was controlled by him, but the portal generally operated independently. In this way, there is no way to transfer troops from the village, but forget it, below the shadow level, in a battle of this level, you are not even qualified to be a bystander. Thinking back to the first time when enlightenment talked to them about Madara's combat power, Nakoki felt a little emotional. However, we also have a few movie-level powerhouses. Among the five shadows, Minato was the only one without guards. It wasn't that he was confident, but that he had already made arrangements. Looking at the portal again, Shengshu raised his eyebrows, and made a new discovery. Under the base of the 6 portals, there is a dark shadow. What it is? Lightly touched the water gate, Naoki gave him a wink. Minato followed the rope tree's guidance and saw the dark shadow under the base of the portal. Can't perceive it? Frowning, Minato nodded to Naoki, and then looked at the expressionless Uchiha Madara. Even if you have the immortal body reincarnated from the dirt, it is useless to face so many of us. Give up and hand over Mizukage. Huh, is that so? It seems that the battle with Mito Mongo gave you some inaccurate understanding of my Uchiha Madara's strength. Scanning the people surrounding him, Madara raised his eyebrows. If there are only these people, it's not impossible to have fun. The corners of Madara's mouth turned up slightly, he pulled out a scroll and threw it away, bit his finger, and swiped. Psychic art. Boom. Minato narrowed his eyes slightly. What came out of Madara's psychic spirit is the ancestral artifact of the Uchiha clan, the source of the clan emblem, made from the branches of the sacred tree, and it is said to be able to rebound all ninjutsu. Madara holds a flame fan in his right hand, and a long-handled sickle in his left. Standard configuration for the Battle of the Valley of the End. It's true, when Madara fought with Brother Wu, he didn't use a weapon. Minato threw the flying thunder god Konoha in his hand to the rope tree beside him. Brother Shenshu, prepare to fight to the death. As it should be. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 365. Chapter 365. Fire escape dust concealment technique. Thick dust with frighteningly high temperatures was immediately released by Madara, obscuring everyone's sight. Although the teleportation hall is very large, Madara's ninjutsu still completely covers it. High temperature dust can burn the enemy, and can also block the enemy's line of sight, thereby hiding oneself. Although Gakage immediately protected the people around him, it was still useless in front of Madara, who had Sharingan. Madara's taijutsu, in the case of dual-wielding a flame fan and a sickle, even a flat cut is not something that ordinary ninja can dodge. Therefore, in the first wave of offense and defense between the two sides, besides the 4 shadows, only Shenshu, Kiribi, Lao Zi, and Han were still standing. Some of the fallen guards and young Jinchuriki were directly knocked down by Madara, and some of them were bounced back by the ninjutsu by the flame ball fan. Mizukage Yakura, who was controlled by Madara, became Madara's helper and took the opportunity to sneak attack. Madara would not let the huge-tailed beast body appear now, so what he dealt with the Jinchurikis was just to knock them down, not to kill them. But in this way, Si Ying, who was a mouse terrorist, also gained confidence. Zi La. Although they used to be rivals, Blue Lightning AI and Yellow Flash Minato, these two fast ninjas can also cooperate very well. The Thunder Dungeon armor has not been cultivated to the level of absolute defense of the third generation of Raikage, but the current AI undoubtedly has the ability to ignore Madara's attack. Therefore, AI quickly appeared in front of Madara, blocked his weapon, and resisted for a few seconds. Ninjutsu, can you bounce back? Oh. So fast, good defense, but in terms of strength, it's still a bit short. Madara felt the violent power coming from the weapon, and became a little interested, but saw Minato's figure appearing behind Yakura in an instant. Another Flying Thunder God user. Konoha, the Flying Thunder God in the air, was grabbed by Minato before he landed, and then he threw him in Madara's direction. Without looking at how Konoha was doing, Minato pressed his palm on the back of Yakura, who hadn't reacted yet. The next moment, Minato led him to appear in front of the rope tree, and huge vines bound him tightly. Untie! Yakura, who was struggling, shook violently, and Minato immediately released Madara's illusion. Damn! Although controlled by Madara's illusion, Yakura still watched as a third party these days, being controlled by Madara and doing wrong things one after another. Therefore, the moment the illusion was released, he roared loudly. Watch out for the portal! Oh, well done! In front of Madara, the thick Susanoo armor blocked Onoji's beam of dust escape, and he himself appeared next to the portal. You would escape, the art of bagging. As soon as Madara landed, a row of huge wooden palms emerged from the ground. But the palm didn't grab Madara, but the shadow on the base of the portal. It was discovered. The shadow shrank quickly, avoiding the grasp of the wooden palm. The shadow shrank under the portal of Yuyan village, and a black stick was inserted behind the bases of the other portals it evacuated. Is that what destroys the power supply of the portal? Zishu controls the giant wooden hand, and the moment he touches the black stick, he finds that his chakra is disturbed and the wooden hand is out of control. This thing can disturb chakra. The response was good, grandson of Hashirama. Madara swung his sickle and cut off the large piece of wooden hand that was attacking him, and turned to look at Heiju, who had transformed into eyes. Start it? Yes, Madara-sama. The black shadow transformed by Heiju extended, connecting Madara with the base of the portal of Yuyan village. A huge amount of chakra was directly transmitted to the portal by Madara. Boom! The endless chakras caused the portal to operate almost overloaded, and its volume expanded to an unprecedented diameter of 50 or 60 meters. A huge brown palm that seemed to be wooden stretched out from the portal, and with a violent howl, a behemoth got out of the portal that had already started to shake. Heretic Golem. Kurama, who was silent for a long time and seemed to be watching a play, suddenly exclaimed in Minato's consciousness. Uchiha Madara, that bastard. He actually brought the Heretic Golem here. That's the Heretic Golem. Minato didn't care about the other stunned people who were almost dazed, and took advantage of Madara's attention shifting to the behemoth that had just appeared, and directly shot a flying thunder god Konoha into the portal. The moment Konoha hit the portal, Minato's eyes were fixed, and his hands were sealed. Seal up! Boom! The violent roar made Madara turn his head unexpectedly, and saw the huge portal shrinking rapidly. And because the outsider golem is too huge, half of its lower body has just come out. Shua! The distortion of space is the strongest cutting force that even the golem of the outer way cannot resist. The portal slammed shut under the time-space seal of the water gate, cutting off a calf of the outer way golem that was accelerating outwards under Madara's control. What is this? CKH was shocked, but Yagura got the news from Isatomio in his body. Everyone! Protect the good man Kuriki. However, it was too late, since Madara got out the heretic golem, he didn't intend to let the Zulai and others be able to form a fighting force. Heh, it's really good to see so many Renzhuli for the first time. The gigantic complete body Susanoo rose from the ground. Although Madara's ability is no secret to everyone, but even if I know it, I can't beat it. Madara directly opened the full body Susanoo, obviously because the arrangement for the portal was discovered in advance, and he planned to make a quick decision. The 100-meter tall Susanoo, taller than the golem of the heretics, almost crushed everyone's resistance in an instant. The speaker, is he fighting this kind of monster? The huge teleportation hall is mostly occupied by two monsters. In front of them, even Kazunraza, who has seen Shikaku's body many times, knows. Any one of these two guys is much taller than Shuhei. Everyone! Don't use tailed beast transformation. Heretic golems can seal the tailed beast in the state of tailed beast transformation. Yakura's explanation made Kiribi, who is proud of being a perfect Jinchuriki, distressed. Because the eight-tailed ox ghost also told him so. And the Monkey King with four tails obviously told Lao Zi the same thing, which made them immediately stop thinking about turning into tailed beasts and beating each other up. It's still possible to use only the chakra code. The sound of the water gate sounded, and in the next moment, the orange flame-like chakra coat enveloped his whole body. The combination of the fluttering Hokujishin robe and the chakra coat gave him an already handsome appearance. It directly crushed the audience. 9 Lama Mode. Kiribi looked at the octopus-like translucent chakra coat outside his body, then at Yakura and his retreat, and finally at Minato. FK. Why he's so handsome it. Melting chakra mode. The corner of Lao Zi's mouth twitched, and he borrowed a chakra with a tail to activate his blood succession limit. The cool form wrapped in high-temperature lava finally saved a little face for the other tailed beast's Jinchuriki. Only a little bit. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 366. Chapter 366. 9 Lama mode is not only the coolest among all tailed beast chakra modes, but also the strongest among all tailed beast chakra modes. Unlike other tailed beasts that have more or less unique nature changes or special effects of chakra, the addition of the 9 Lamas mode is simple and rude. Strength, agility, resistance, wisdom, essence, armor, resistance, trick, and dodge. All in all, the basic attributes that chakra can enhance are all enhanced, and at the same time, a blue bar that is too rough to look like is plugged in. Although at the water gate, the blue bar has turned into an n-fold speed back to the blue buff, but with the water gate's fighting style, it doesn't affect it. Tisk, they still wonder when this uncle is so easy to talk, and actually has perfect Renzhuli. The Kurama himself was drinking tea and eating snacks comfortably in Konoha, but his spirit was paying close attention to Minato's side the whole time. It's just that he is in the illusion, drinking tea and eating snacks. This made Minato feel a little embarrassed watching him complaining solemnly. But this is not important, strictly speaking, this is the first time Minato has used the 9 Lamas mode in actual combat. The endless chakra poured out continuously, making Minato breathe a sigh of relief. 9 Lamas, please keep an eye on it, I'm going to start. Boom. Several Renzhuli with strong combat power. Yagura with 3 tails, Lao Zi with 4 tails, Han with 5 tails, and Kiribi with 8 tails, all of them have activated the tailed beast chakra mode. But apart from Han, who is known for his powerful physical skills, the mission of the other 3 is to protect the other young Renzhuli. Earth Dungeon, the art of light and heavy rocks. Onoji lightened the weight for Han and Ai, who were mainly attacking in melee combat, almost increasing their speed by a notch. The violent physical attack combined with Oniki's dust escape, resisted the heretic golem for a while, but it was not enough for the complete body. How to fight this kind of monster? Unable to use tailed beast transformation, the fighting power of the Renzhuli was greatly restricted. What's more, there are a few small oil bottles. Naosha uses Mudun to cooperate with several Jinchuriki's tailed beast chakra mode, even Susanoo's flat slash must work together to resist a blow. You must deal with the golem of the heretics before. Give it to me. Minato's two-handed Mudra, endless 9 Lama chakra, let him use the strongest space-time ninjutsu so far. Flying Thunder Divine Guide Thunder. Let's change places. Shoo. The ground of the entire teleportation hall was covered by a huge flying thunder god. In the next moment, without even giving Madara a chance to react, the godlike complete body Susanoo, the berserk heretic golem and everyone present all disappeared in place. What a disgusting technique. There is a large wilderness in front of you, which looks very suitable for fighting. Although Joshinyuan City is not far away, it means that this place has not left the floating island, but Madara understands the opponent's tactics when he sees the extra figures in front of him. Nagato, you should know that a group of miscellaneous fish cannot bring you victory. Uchiha Madara, your delusions should end today. As the strongest force guarantee of the Guardian Council, the captain of the executive force, Nagato, did not appear in the battle just now. Although Seiyan was strange, he didn't have time to think about it. Now, they get it? Chairman Wu once said that Gao Tianyuan as a whole has been strengthened by special protection techniques. Fighting here is the least damaging way to the environment of the ninja world. Moreover, Konoha Sunin and Uchiha Patriarch, I am actually starting to feel lucky that Konoha has so many cage-level powerhouses. Kazekage Raza looked at the 4 Konoha ninjas lined up in front of him and the others with Nagato with complicated eyes. It seems that you are not unprepared for my visit, but this lineup just prolongs the game time a little bit. His eyes moved away from Nagato, skipped Konoha Sunin, and moved to Fugaku Uchiha with his arms folded and a cold expression on his face. A junior of the Uchiha clan, report your name. Contemporary Uchiha Patriarch, Uchiha Fugaku Master Madara, I never expected to see you in this way. A large part of my information comes from your handwriting. In the previous battle, Madara felt that the group of people on the opposite side seemed to know a lot about the ninjutsu, taijutsu, and illusion that he had not shown in the previous battle with Satoru. In the previous battle between him and Wu, he didn't show so much. To put it bluntly, the two of them just used various techniques to bombard each other from a long distance. Standing on the opposite side of you, of course we must carefully collect information. Uchiha Fugaku stared fearlessly at Madara located in the jewel above Susanoo's head, and there was even a hint of excitement in his eyes. It is really a rare experience to be able to participate in the battle with you with my own eyes. I see. Looking at Nagato who had already risen into the sky, a cold color flashed across the face. It seems that my former family has betrayed me again. Nagato, do you also choose to be my enemy? Have you forgotten the great ideal? Since you are standing with the Uchiha Patriarch, you must have seen the stone tablet of the Sage of the Six Paths. Madara stretched out his right hand again. Come here, Nagato. The 9-tailed beasts gather together, we are only one step away from our dreams. Sorry, Madara, although I did see the steel, but you've been lying to me since the beginning. Nagato looked a little disappointed, but then became firm again. Unlimited monthly reading is the happiness you pursue, but it is not what I and we pursue, so let that illusory dream end today. Don't you care about the sacred mission entrusted to you by the Sage of the Six Paths? Madara's face is serious, although the appearance of the 9-tailed beasts made him intend to give up Nagato's chess piece, but his abandoning the opponent is not the same as the opponent actively betraying. Don't you care about the sacred mission represented by the eyes of reincarnation? Since the heretic golem appeared here, it has been quietly stuck in place. Now, there are two permissions for the manipulation of the golem of the foreign way. Uchiha Madara, and Nagato. But Nagato, who has the eyes of reincarnation, has higher authority in theory, but it can't compare with Madara, who has controlled the golem for decades. Therefore, under the control of Madara's powerful chakra, Nagato can only keep the heretic golem still. You are now in the state of reincarnation from the filthy earth, the natural technique of reincarnation. Is it prepared for resurrecting yourself? Nagato's emotionless tone made Madara's face turn cold. Moreover, this is a technique that must be used to die, so don't think that I will be deceived by you. So that's the case, you know. But do you know, the golem of the heretics can still be used like this? What? Nagato was taken aback suddenly, and Madara quickly formed a seal, and a violent chakra erupted from him. You. Nagato just wanted to grab the control of Jin and Madara, but suddenly found that his arms can't move. Nagato. Minato also noticed something was wrong with Nagato, because the golem of the heretics moved again. How is this going? Nagato felt as if he was tightly bound by something, and at the same time, a layer of pitch black slowly covered his left half of his body. Long time no see, Nagato, you were much more obedient when you were young. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 367. Chapter 367 Monsters only monsters can deal with. At the moment when Haze controlled Nagato, Madara had already controlled the outsider golem to attack the Jinchurikis. Phantom Dragon 9 Seals. The gigantic chakra dragon rushed out from the wide open mouth of the golem, and rushed towards the Jinzuri. Get out of the way. Turned into an elbow and armpit, originally Nagato controlled the golem of the outsider and made everyone give up their vigilance, but it was too late to react at this time. The Berserk Chakra Dragon, everyone can guess what will happen if it is hit. Boom. The huge gold placer wall, rock wall, and water wall are controlled by Kazekage Raza, Tsuchikajonaki, and Mizukage Yakura, blocking chakra long. But in the face of this move of devouring all the chakras, the triple protection only persisted for a short moment before bursting feebly. It's useless, the chakra dragon can absorb the chakra it touches, and ninjutsu is ineffective in front of it. The Berserk Chakra Dragon broke through the blockade of the three shadows, but ignored them, and rushed towards the four young Jinchuriki. Really, it was ignored. A huge spiral pill appeared in front of Chakra Dragon and Jinzuriki. Yokohito Jiraiya with a smear of eyeshadow on the corner of Minato's eye also appeared in front of the Jinchuriki who were about to resist. Immortal Chakra, can you absorb it? Immortal Law Super Big Jade Spiral Pill. Boom. The Chakra Dragon can't directly absorb the Sage Chakra like ordinary chakra, so a violent explosion sounded, and the crisis of the Jinzolai people was temporarily lifted. On the other side of the heretic golem, Orochimaru wearing the snake immortal armor also began to display his own fairy art. Immortal Law Baki art. Boom. Different from the original timeline, the current Orochimaru activated this forbidden technique with Senju Chakra in a complete state. It seems that Enlightened's aesthetics are a little more normal. Orochimaru did not use his own body to transform Yamata no Orokai as before, but regarded it as a clone. Therefore, the current Orochimaru is equivalent to Royal Beast Flow. The Sage Chakra exploded, and the green snake fairy armor was set on the huge Yamata no Orokai. Huh, what about the size? Of course monsters have to use monsters to resist. It's just a defective product with a crippled leg. Shua. The figure of Minato disappeared in a flash, and then Jiraiya appeared next to Orochimaru. Orochimaru only felt a huge Sage Chakra pouring into the snake fairy armor of himself and Yamata no Orokai. Ha ha ha, Orochimaru, in terms of durability, it has to be a real man like me. Don't worry. Fairy Chakra is enough. The corners of Dashimaru's eyes twitched, resisting the urge to slash the tired rascal with a sword, and snorted coldly. Yachi no Orakai is genderless. Jiraiya, hurry up, I have to help my precious apprentice. Oh. There are more strange things, it's a lot more interesting. On the other side, Madara raised his eyebrows a little unexpectedly. The three guys who didn't care much at first, actually two of them have fairy mode. And the guy who played the snake actually used the fairy mode like this, which seems to be somewhat similar to Susanoo. No. It's not just the two of them. This chakra. Madara turned his gaze away, and a cold shout reached his ears. Immortal technique, wooden dungeon, wooden dragon art. Immortal method, wooden escape, wooden man's art. Boom. A huge wooden man, wrapped in a thick wooden dragon, appeared in front of the complete body Susanoo. Although the height is only more than 80 meters, it has undoubtedly reached the strength of Zujian back then. Oh. On the head of the giant wooden figurine that collided violently with Susanoo, Madara spotted two figures. It's very similar to Zujian's Xianju chakra. No, it's not just the power of Xianju, your boy's contribution is not that great. Compared with the last time I met Madara, although Naoki's strength is much stronger, it has not reached this level. With his ability, the wooden man's technique added by immortal technique should not be able to reach this level. But with the help of Tsunade's Baihao chakra, it's completely different. Senior Madara, I can't do it on my own, but our siblings are working together. Please, Senior Madara, evaluate how far we are from Grandpa. So that's how it is, this restorative chakra full of vitality. Are you the granddaughter of Hashirama? The current Tsunade is assisting Rope Tree in the form of a huge external blue bottle. Ah, the younger generation doesn't live up to it, so we can only join forces to deal with the senior. Tsunade's body is covered with the marks of Baihao, and the huge chakra stored in his daily life supports all the ninjutsu of Naruto. Although there is no way to provide Xianju chakra, the compatibility of Baihao chakra is unparalleled. Unfortunately, you still haven't seen clearly where the fundamental gap lies. There was a flash of appreciation in Spot Scarlet's eyes, but his subordinates were merciless. Whether you go all out or not, the difference is very big, and, a game like Siege, of course, the more people there are, the more lively it will be. Would escape, would clone technique. Swish swish swish. 20 doppelgangers appeared, and the next moment, just like when fighting Wu, more than 20 incomplete Susanoos appeared. Come on, I won't let you transfer the Jinchuriki away. A large group of Susanoos rushed towards the Jinchurikis. As soon as the aftermath of Chakralong's explosion dissipated, the Jinchurikis ushered in a new enemy. Calm. Minato stopped the Jinchuriki who wanted to use Tailed Beast. The alien golem is still under Madara's control. He uses this large-scale attack to draw out the Tailed Beast itself. You don't need the Tailed Beast itself, how can such a big Susanoo deal with it? Come one by one, I will assist, use the Tailed Beast Jade, the three shadows, I will leave them to you. The old man also participated in the attack. Onoji stood up with a cold snort. It's time to find back the self that was lost with Madara. The dust escape of the old man will not lose to Tailed Beast Jade. In a few words, a group of Susanoos had already been killed. It's not that Minato didn't think about using Flying Thunder God to divert Zulai away from several young people who were eager to try. However, Julama firmly disagreed, saying that he wanted to give his compatriots an impressive meeting ceremony. Minato was speechless about the increasingly weird temper of the Kurama after he took human form. But that was originally part of the plan. Dealing with tailed beasts, both kindness and majesty, in the case of an undercover agent, 9 llamas, whether it is the ultimate transformation or arcane crystallization, it can be said to be favor. So powerful or dangerous. What could be better than the opportunity in front of you? According to what Wu said, if they don't come out like this, Once these master-tailed beasts are freed, they will run away and disappear immediately. Believe it or not. Even the 9 llamas back then, didn't they have the invisible deterrence of Madara, so it went so smoothly. Minato let Jinchuriki and the shadows to fend off a large group of Susanoo's attacking. On Madara's side, the complete body of Susanoo gradually strengthened, and the wooden figure let out a somewhat overwhelmed roar. It's just that it's big, it can't reach the height of Zujian that year. Even if you are descendants of Hashirama, huh? Boom. A huge bronze-colored Valkyrie phantom, accompanied by a huge chakra, rose next to the wooden man. This is, it seems that the current Uchiha clan leader also has good eyes. But after a while, Madara's complexion turned cold. Eternal Kaleidoscope. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 368. Chapter 368 Hage's Operation. Not limited to the half-body form, the bronze-colored Susanoo continues to grow impressively. Although it is not yet a complete body and has no wings, it is already a complete warrior form. In the crystal on Susanoo's forehead, there is a figure of Uchiha Fugaku. Master Madara, times have changed. In the Scarlet Kaleidoscope, there is a huge pupil power that is no less than eternity. Uchiha and Senju. The bronze-colored Susanoo pulled out his 2 knives and slashed violently to free the wooden figure, but Madara was stunned for a moment because of the scene in front of him. In the next moment, the wooden man and Susanoo attacked Madara almost at the same time. Fuu's kaleidoscope Sharingan flashes red light, Madara's possible reactions, coping strategies, follow-up changes, etc. Countless kinds of futures flow through the kaleidoscope of writing wheels, which is comparable to a supercomputer. Madara suddenly finds that although his Susanoo is perfect, he is restrained by Fugaku Susanoo as the main attacker and the wooden man as the assistant. No, although the pupil power is very strong, but it's not straight to the jade. How did you do it? Predicting the future, there is also this kaleidoscope ability, and it seems that the pupil power is not realized through the intercolumnar cells. Madara could tell that the descendants of Senshou in front of him didn't have any interstitial cells, let alone the Uchiha patriarch. The cooperation between Senju and Uchiha is really ironic. But I have 2 powers at the same time. Uchiha Madara formed seals with both hands, and the violent chakra jumped up, and Susanoo almost split the 2 opponents who were a lot smaller on the opposite side with a single knife. Wood Dune birth of the flower and tree realm. When Madara was demonstrating what is called Uchiha and the power of 1,000 hands for the younger generation, Nagato, as a key figure in suppressing the golem of the heretics, was still floating in the air. What are you? Nagato stubbornly resisted the black shadow covering most of his body. Hey. The pitch-black shadow controlled Nagato's arms and half of his body, wrapping around his entire head. Spirit fusion, I can control a part of your will. Too weak, compared to Madara-sama, your will is too weak. Heija sneered again and again, a dark object with 2 round eyes protruded from Nagato's shoulder. Nagato, if you are weaker, I can even use your body to perform spells. What a pity, it's embarrassing now. You have seen me when I was a child. Nagato stubbornly resisted, but at the same time came to a kind of enlightenment. Perhaps my long-standing doubts can be answered today. That's right, why do you think you are favored by the sages of the 6 paths and have the eyes of reincarnation? Now that Nagato is useless, Heize started to express his desire again. You've noticed it yourself, haven't you? That's right, these are not your eyes, but the real Madara-sama's eyes. When you were a child, Madara-sama and I personally transplanted these eyes into your body. Madara-sama is the real master of Samsara I and the real savior. Nagato almost lost control of his mind. I, just a pawn for Madara to revive herself? That's right, that's it, so, give up resistance now, use the natural technique of reincarnation, and revive Madara-sama. This way, you can die worthwhile. Heize said so, but he did not relax his control over Nagato at all. He, sure enough. Contrary to Heige's expectations, Nagato did not fall into hysteria, nor did he lose his mind and give up on himself, nor did he break down and curse out loud. His voice was strangely calm. I have vaguely noticed long ago that the reincarnation eye is not my own. I don't know how to use my own things. Isn't it ridiculous for the eyes passed down by the sages of the six paths? The corners of Nagato's mouth twitched slightly. It's just that I didn't expect that there was such a weird thing like you behind Madara. What the hell are you? I am an extension of Madara-sama's will, a product of yin-yang done, you can call me Ju. Heije sneered. Have a hunch? What does that matter? The eye of reincarnation is so powerful that you can't give it up. Enjoy the power, you have to pay the corresponding price. Now is the time for reckoning. Ha 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 Nagato boy. When you are in trouble, I still think of you, master. Do not move. Nagato and Ju were startled, and heard an exaggerated shout. Psychic art. Boom. The huge toad Bunta appeared at the foot of Nagato, and now, Jiraiya, who provided Orochimaru with enough sensu chakra, stood on top of Toad Bunta, just behind Nagato. Huh. Jiraiya. I'm not dreaming. As soon as Toad Wenta appeared, he sensed the violent battle around him. This level of fighting, you want me to die here? Ha ha ha, just borrowing your height? Gillette also said with a smile while making seals with both hands. I can't fly, but I can't reach this kid, those big monsters will be dealt with by someone. Ninjutsu, Toad Hirukage manipulation. Jiraiya let out a cold shout, and his feet sank directly into the shadow behind Nagato. Teacher Jiraiya. Nagato, don't give up, keep restraining the foreign golem, Minato and the others will get it done soon. Hey. You bastard, Jiraiya, you are Nagato's master, he. Do you think Nagato can still be saved now? Heiju smiled triumphantly. You didn't escape my surveillance with those methods, but I haven't thanked you for helping us cultivate Nagato. I heard all that just now, the perception of the immortal mode is no joke. Gillette also looked serious, but Heiju suddenly realized that he couldn't even control Nagato to turn around and look at Gillette. What happened? Heiju tried several times, but couldn't control Nagato. Hehehe, I have a lot of tricks. Jiraiya moved his feet little by little with difficulty, and saw Nagato's entire back covered in black, being pulled up little by a black thing. This ninjutsu is to sneak into the opponent's shadow to control his actions. Heiju's resistance is also very tenacious, and Gillette also has the bonus of Zyanja Chakra, so he can barely move him. Now you cover the entire back of Nagato, so the shadow on the ground looks like Nagato's shape, but it's actually your shadow. So that's how it is, damn it. Heiju struggled desperately. Once he got out of Nagato's body, with his strength, Jiraiya in immortal mode could put him in more than a dozen appearances in minutes. No. You must leave here. The part of Heiju covering Nagato's face began to squirm. He, the shadow can't completely control me, Nagato, since you are useless. Then, we have to use other methods. Nagato's eyes were wide open, and under the double restraint of him and Jiraiya, Heiju was able to move Nagato's left arm, which was completely covered by him. You. Crack. The huge force broke Nagato's left arm. No, to be precise, Nagato's left arm bone was forcibly pulled out from his left arm, and was manipulated by the part that covered the front of his body with the black sword. Ah! Amid Nagato's screams and Jiraiya's angry shouts, Nagato's boneless left arm grabbed into his left eye and dug it out. Nagato! Jiraiya let go of his hand, and Heiju took the opportunity to wrap his left eye, curled up into a ball, and jumped off Toad Wenta. The other eye of reincarnation, you will have to return it sooner or later. Ha 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 ha. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 369. Chapter 369, The Power of the Eye of Reincarnation. The development of the matter was something that Jiraiya and Nagato never expected. Under such circumstances, Heijo was able to poach Nagato's Eye of Reincarnation. Damn it! Jiraiya was so angry that he almost couldn't maintain the fairy mode. Nagato. How are you? I'm fine. It's okay, we have the strongest medical ninja in the ninja world. Seeing the wooden man, Susanoo, and Madara fighting, Jiraiya gritted his teeth. Wenta. You go back first. You're still acting like this, don't die. Boom. Toad Bunta's figure disappeared. On a battlefield of this level, even a top psychic beast of his level was like cannon fodder. Shua. The figure of Minato appeared next to Jiraiya and Nagato, who were falling, and disappeared with them the next moment. Sorry, senior brother Nagato, teacher Jiraiya, I didn't realize the situation here. What Minato came over was a shadow clone, and the main body was still leading the crowd to resist a group of Susanoo. When he discovered that there was a change here, Heize had already succeeded, and Minato only had time to separate the shadow clone and come forward. No. Hokage, I'm too useless, I've been relying too much on the ability of reincarnation. Unleashing the power of Shuradeo, Nagato's separated left arm turned into a mechanism armored arm, stopping the gushing blood. Nagato was slightly taken aback, as if surprised. Jiraiya and Minato were also taken aback. What's wrong? I feel that after losing one eye of reincarnation, my control over the remaining eye of reincarnation is stronger. Nagato moved his left arm. Although he used Shuradeo's transformation ability to stop the bleeding, he still needed the treatment of a medical ninja, otherwise he would still be seriously injured if he transformed back. Heijo said just now that the eyes of reincarnation are not mine, but Uchiha Madara's. He took a fancy to my bloodline and transplanted the eyes of reincarnation to me when I was young, so that I could revive him in the future. That's why Samsara Eye put so much pressure on me. Brother Wu should also know this, so he told me many times not to use the power of the reincarnation eye too much. Nagato quickly expressed his judgment. Now, I have lost a reincarnation eye, but I can feel that the ability to activate a reincarnation eye has not been affected. On the contrary, because of losing one eye, the pressure on me has been reduced by half, and I can use it more flexibly. Jiraiya and Minato looked at each other strangely. Did they love this disciple/brother, or was it a blessing in disguise? Nagato, let's talk about those things later. Minato, send us to Tsunade now. I will take her place. Nagato's injury needs to be treated immediately. Good. The combination of the wooden man and the bronze Susanoo was suppressed by Uchiha Madara alone. And it seems that Madara just playing around. The huge trees and vines all over the battlefield, and the huge flowers that paralyze the pollen, dyed the battlefield into a large dusty space. The current Madara, whose wood escape secret technique is even stronger than the combination of rope tree and Tsunade. Both Murin and Susanoo have been defeated countless times. If it weren't for the relatively sufficient chakra and pupil power, they would have retreated now. Shua. The shadow clone of Minato appeared beside Tsunade with Jiraiya and Nagato, and Jiraiya quickly explained the situation. There is such a thing. Nodding tacitly, Jiraiya directly replaced Tsunade's position in the fierce battle, pouring his own continuous Sage Chakra into Nawaki. And Tsunade used Baihao Chakra to launch a powerful healing ninjutsu, quickly recovering Nagato's left arm. Although it has been cured, it is best not to use this left arm for a few days. Tsunade looked worriedly at Madara, who didn't seem to notice at all. He must have discovered the situation here. He is just waiting now. Since this is the case, we have to work harder on our side. Minato looked at Madara with a serious face, and then glanced at the golem of the heretics, who was crushed and beaten by Orochimaru because Nagato's control over the eyes of reincarnation became smaller and quieter. Unless it is absolutely necessary, I don't want to summon Senior Brother Wu. All along, we have relied too much on him. Now Senior Brother Wu has his own affairs to take care of. If so many of us can't save ourselves, it will be too useless. I agree, then let's go. In the space of gemstones with a full body, an adult crushed Madara like a child, without even opening his eyes. But now, a pool of black matter appeared beside him. Madara-sama succeeded. Heiji's eyes appeared, and Madara slowly opened them. Oh. I got my left eye back, it's a good job, but I didn't expect it. I still have to do this step. Reaching out to get the eye of reincarnation from Heiju, Madara raised his hand and pulled out his left eye. Breaking away from Madara's body, this precious eternal kaleidoscope Sharingan immediately turned into a handful of dust, blowing away with the wind. Humph, a fake is a fake, no matter how strong it is. Sensing the eyes that seemed to be reborn in their eye sockets due to the reincarnation of the dirt, Madara frowned. Tisk, it's really troublesome. If you can't transplant it now, you can only use it in another way. On the opposite side, Uchiha Fugaku and Nawaki all noticed Madara's situation. After seeing him gouging out his left eye, they were still nervous for a while, but now, their expression seemed a little weird. Reincarnation of dirty earth will automatically repair the eyes that have been gouged out. Can't the genuine reincarnation eyes fit in? That's right, the reincarnated body of the dirty soil will not bleed, it is just a soul possession, and naturally there are no blood vessels and nerves. How to drive the real reincarnation eye? But before they could heave a sigh of relief, Madara started to make a fuss again. In front of his forehead, something like a base appeared. This is made of almost the same material as Susanoo. Behind the base, there is a long thorn, piercing Madara's forehead like this. Well, dirty reincarnation has no brains, and it's fine if it's pierced. Then, Madara placed the reincarnation eye on the pedestal. He uses the Susanoo as a transfer, and uses the soul to directly drive the reincarnation eye. Uchiha Fugaku was shocked, Susanoo can still use it like this. The corners of Madara's mouth turned up slightly, violent chakras surged, and his hands and Susanoo formed mudras almost at the same time. The next moment, everyone saw the horror of Uchiha Madara, who had the eyes of reincarnation. In the sky, a familiar roar sounded. No way. The expressions of the people who fought with Satoru were ugly. They looked up at the sky. Huge meteorites fell from the sky, blocking the sun's rays. These gangsters like throwing meteorites from the sky so much. Naoki complained fiercely with a pale face, and looked at Minato. Can you handle it? Help me contain Madara. Minato's shadow clone dissipated, and his main body knew the situation here instantly. Under the attack of the crowd, there were only a few Susanoos left, but the huge movement in the air attracted everyone's attention. This thing, how to resist? Oniki was sweating profusely, and remembered again, the guy who liked to throw meteorites from the sky before. But this time it's too big. Everyone. Don't be affected, keep attacking. Give me the things in the sky, you destroy all these things. Minato showed a confident smile. I have experience with this. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 370. Chapter 370, Innate Art of Reincarnation. Just when everyone was attracted by the huge meteorite falling from the sky and covering the sky, Madara took the next step. How could he only do such a little action when he regained the eyes of reincarnation? In the end, We still have to use a backup plan. Are you ready? Yes, Madara-sama, 4 high-quality Beija fusion bodies have sneaked here in advance. Heiju paused, and a particularly strong Baiju came out beside him. It took a lot of time and finally succeeded. Because of the intercolumn cells and the fusion secret technique, this guy is already able to withstand the eyes of reincarnation, which is much better than the original inferior products. But even so, only one technique can be performed with the eyes of reincarnation. Well, one technique is enough. Who will let you succeed? Just as Madara was about to move, the wooden man and Susanoo on the opposite side had already attacked. Not only that, Nagato also joined the attack this time. Now, with both eyes of reincarnation, Nagato is completely unable to compete with him for the control of the golem of the outer way. Therefore, he can only cooperate with Nezuki, Tsunade, and Uchiha Fugaku to try to stop Madara. But if you compete with Bambi in the eyes of reincarnation, it's almost enough to play. The power of Uchiha and Senshou is not used in this way. Shenluo Tianzhang. Boom. The two powerful repulsive forces are facing each other. Although Nagato's control over the eyes of reincarnation is more flexible, in terms of power, absolutely no match for Madara. Nagato's Shenluo Tianzhang was completely offset by Madara, and the violent explosion threw the wooden figure and Susanoo far away. 4 arms and 4 knives, draw the knives, slash. In this short gap, Madara's complete body Susanoo almost launched the strongest attack directly, and the violent blade directly chopped off the wooden man and bronze Susanoo, who thought he had resisted for a long time. Really, if I were a little more serious, you would fall down. Ignoring the miserable wooden man and bronze Susan for the time being, Madara picked out the particularly white left eye beside him with his hand. Then, he wiped his forehead, and pressed the eyes of reincarnation embedded in the base directly into Baiju's eye sockets. Oh, powerful power! Feeling the power of Samsara eyes, Baiju sighed happily. Stop talking nonsense, get to work. Heiju climbed onto him, and looked up at the huge meteorite that was approaching. Master Madara, please wait a moment. Heretics, the innate art of reincarnation. On the side of Wukage and Jinzuriki, Minato has mobilized the huge 9 Lama Chakra. Tying. Help me. Snored. Oniki gritted his teeth, and slapped Minato on the shoulder. Earth Dungeon, super light and heavy rock technique. This technique can only reduce the weight of the old man to the point where he can fly, but it doesn't have such a strong effect on others. Looking up at the approaching huge meteorite, Onoki grabbed Minato's combat vest. The old man will take you up. Then please. The closer the meteorite is to the ground, the lower the error tolerance rate. A little carelessness, let alone whether Gao Tianyuan will be smashed into the sky, at least the people present will be seriously injured if they don't die. And the last 2 Susanoos. AI is wrapped in Thunder Dunk armor, and his attack has not been trained to the level of the 3rd generation of Raikage, but it can only cause damage to Susanoo. But this does not prevent him from using high speed to contain the enemy for everyone. Kill them, and then help Orochimaru. That's right, Yagura glanced at Yamata no Orochi, who was beaten back by the golem of the outsider world. Only by suppressing the golem can the power of the tailed beast be exerted. Flying Thunder Divine Guide Thunder. As if to envelop the sky, the jutsu unfolded at high altitude, and Minato invoked the huge chakra of Kurama, and performed a space-time ninjutsu of this scale for the first time. Boom! The huge meteorite barely came into contact with the Flying Thunder God spell, as if it was squeezed into the space, squeezing all the spells in the void to fall. How far can it be transferred? Oniki roared loudly, and the gale of the howling meteorite falling made him almost unable to stabilize his figure. The vicinity of this location is crowded with people. Relax. With the support of the 9 Lama Chakras, I can move it far enough. The nearest one is the North Sea in the land of Taki, and the coast there just happened to be reinforced by the Council of Guardians. Ah! That's the coast of the land near the old man. Sorry, I only have Flying Thunder God in the sea over there. Hokage. U0026*%. Shoo. The huge meteorite was finally moved away, but the sky did not light up. Hey, no way. Sankage and Jinchuriki, who managed to wipe out the last two Susanos and Madara's wooden clone, stared at the sky dumbfounded. Behind the disappearing huge meteorite is a large series of even bigger meteorites. Go and help Orochimaru. The roar of Minato came from the sky. This kind of thing, I can transfer a few of them. Oniki wants to cry, but you can move a few more. I don't know how much to move back the coastline of my country of land. He, ha 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 ha. The gigantic complete Susanoo slowly dissipated, but a burst of arrogant laughter resounded throughout the battlefield. That's the feeling of blood boiling is called fighting. Baijueruan beside him collapsed on the ground, and then turned into flying ash. Only one purple reincarnation eye was left, which was caught by Madara in his hand. Resurrected and obtained the Madara of his youthful peak body, a pair of eternal kaleidoscope Sharingan has turned into ashes and scattered. But the next moment, his left eye was fitted with the reincarnation eye that he had been away for decades. And the right eye? Tisk, since I don't have a right eye for the time being, let's use Sharingan to make do with it. Taking the Sanguya Sharingan from Heiju, Madara pressed it into his right eye socket. But it's just for the time being. Although the right eye takes a little time, it can't escape. Looking at the two huge monsters that surrounded him again, Madara made seals with his hands, and an inexplicable gleam flashed in his reincarnation eyes. Will Tomb Border Prison. It still made him succeed. On the wooden figurine, Naoki snorted angrily, their attack was just a joke in Madara's eyes. As for Madara's attack, it took them a long time to recover. Sorry, I'm too weak, be careful. Before Nagato could say another word of emotion, he suddenly widened his eyes. What is that? What's wrong? Rope Tree and Tsunade looked at Nagato inexplicably, they didn't notice at all. Shenluo Tianzheng. Boom. Nagato flew out instantly by himself, and smashed into the wooden dragon beside the wooden man. What happened? Shenluo Tianzheng will not absolutely bounce the opponent away. If the opponent cannot move, or if the caster is too strong, the caster will be bounced back. But in the eyes of Naoki and Tsunade, there was nothing before Nagato's shot. Another Madara is attacking. What? Poof. Naoki was bewildered, and suffered a heavy blow. This blow was so heavy, with his physique, he fell to the ground in an instant spurting blood.